Hi, welcome to Friday Night Date Night with Rochelle. I'm so glad you could join us. Tonight's topic is it allergies or is it COVID-19 with flu? So really, it's a hot topic right now, right? It's on top of everybody's mind, not just for worry's sake, but to make sure about their own health, but about being contagious and passing it on. And we're right in the middle of flu season. The symptoms, this year's particularly bad. I haven't had allergies in a really long time, and this year I've been actually suffering with some of them, especially since I planted a garden for the first time. So I just wanted to go over today with you how to monitor yourself and distinguish first if it's the flu, COVID, or allergies. And you're gonna have to excuse me if I have to damp a little bit, but then also how to help yourself if it is allergies, or to basically just support your immune system overall, to find out or to help yourself to feel better. So today we're just going to go through our presentation slide deck, and then you can review this at your leisure. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Just a second. All right, so let me go ahead and play this as a slideshow. All right, so welcome. My name is Rochelle Dardano. I'm the owner and CEO of Internal Wisdom, Holistic Wellness Center in Folsom, California, where we focus on the whole body and helping you to be your optimal self. We support that for sure, and mind, body, spirit. But today's topic is knowing the difference between coronavirus flu, or is it allergies? Allergens are everywhere, especially in the fall, in the spring and summer. Depending on where you live, it's worse. Like here in California, Northern California, all the trees are in bloom. It's like snow almost with the pollen that's falling down and the flowers. Some areas, especially colder climates, can be a little bit more not as prone to allergies. However, they are more prone to molds. So there are still allergens everywhere. This is not a bad thing. Most of the time, if our immune systems are healthy and they're not in an overreactive state, like my nose is right now, then you should be able to not have allergens. But allergens occur when the body gets a little bit confused, and we'll talk about that today. Very different than the flu. So first, let's talk about allergies a little bit. Allergens can pop up with different symptoms for different people. So if you've ever experienced headaches or migraines and you seem to have them chronically at different times of the year, that might actually be a triggered allergic reaction, or even a sensitivity. Your kids, especially when they're small, oftentimes will have ear infections or sore throats or strep throat. Those are all symptoms that they might be having an underlying allergic reaction. If you're feeling really tired all the time and lethargic, that's a sign that you might be experiencing also with allergies, that your immune system's a little bit more overwhelmed. A lot of times people don't put this connection together either, but it does have a lot to do with your digestive tract. I know as a kid, I wouldn't go outside. I couldn't go outside because especially during the spring, my eyes would swell shut. I would sneeze 15, 20 times in a row. I couldn't even think straight. My nose would run. And I just couldn't plant a garden before, but I was also constipated. I also had gut issues. I also had stress in my life. And I think those all very much were connected. When I cleaned up my gut, I didn't expect it. I just thought you had to live with allergies. But what happened was my allergies actually went away. Now, I've been traveling and eating really whatever I want this last year. And so I'm starting to feel those allergens coming right back. So I do need to do some cleansing. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Stomach pain. So let's talk about that. Stomach pain after eating. Oftentimes a food allergy will actually mimic, and you'll think it's like the cat, or you'll think it's food that you just ate, or the pollen outside, but it could have been the food that you've just eaten. And then pain. Pain can also be flared in your joints. That's arthritis, and there can be underlying contributing factors such as allergies to that. All right, so let's talk about what happens in the body with the immune system when there's an allergic response, because there's IgE mediated actual allergic response. Now, oftentimes with children especially, you'll hear about lactose intolerant or lactose allergens, where they have their throat swells shut. Peanuts is another very common one. That's a very allergic response. It's quick, it happens fast right after exposure. And there might be particular foods that interfere with your digestive tract, and that produces what we call IgE antibodies. That's your body's immune system that says, there's something foreign here that's not supposed to be here. It's harmful, and we need to attack it. There's a confusion that happens because obviously peanuts don't harm most of us, but for this person, their immune system recognizes it as a foreign invader that's really, really bad. Get rid of it. And what it does is that it produces histamine. So you might have heard of the term antihistamine. We'll be talking about that a little bit later as well. Histamine is what causes all of the immune responses, your runny noses, because your body's trying to get rid of it. It's your natural way of healing. The body's immune system will naturally try to get rid of anything that's bad or imbalancing the body. There's these secondary exposures that trigger another layer of immune system. So if there's an allergic reaction that happens, you have the histamine, then you have the T cells and the lymphocytes. Now, these are different activators. You can also get tested for these. This is an IgE mediated disease state, which is also an immune reaction. So now we've talked about what happens when you're exposed to an allergy. The same thing happens when you're exposed to a cold and a flu. It's just the body recognizes it as an invader. Viruses might be a little different. Now that's still up for debate. Do you get it from the outside, or is there some exposure that happens that creates a protein within the body that mutates, that creates or releases the virus? So depending on what articles you read, that's still up for discovery and proof on the scientific level, but we do know what some symptoms are. So I'm going to review that. Not being a physician, I don't want to get too deep into the how do we verify what it is, because there isn't a test for the common cold. There is tests for the coronavirus, but they're not specific. There's IgE, IgG mediated ones that they are now doing with a finger prick that can tell you if you've had it, if you've been exposed to it, if you definitely have it right now. But the nasal swab is PCR testing, and that's not as accurate. I digress. Allergy testing, however, is very accurate. We'll talk about that. So by blood test. So what can happen? You can get a fever, very rare in cold, very common in the flu, not typical for your allergy symptoms to get an all over fever. And if you get a headache, that might show up, and it's, a hot head or something like that, that might be a reaction, but it wouldn't be all over. All right, with the duration of symptoms, a regular cold, 2 to 14 days. With the flu, up 1 to 2 weeks. The coronavirus is actually acting a lot longer than that, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, depending, or not at all. Like people they've been exposed to it, they have it for like a day and it goes away. Could be, it progresses and it can be potentially fatal. So can the regular flu. So 1 to 2 weeks is typical for your average person who's relatively healthy without a secondary disease state. With allergies, they can actually last a whole lot longer than 3 weeks, the entire season, if not year round, depending on the type of allergies. It's a cumulative threshold disease state. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. All right, so mucus can come up. It's thick yellow mucus. I mean, your body's trying to trap some buggy and it's trying to get it out, and it's going to be thicker. Where flu, it's also thick yellow mucus. With the coronavirus, however, there isn't any mucus for the most part, and we're going to go through what to look for on the next slide, but not generally. With allergies, it's clear. There's no thick yellow green color. It's really just clear. It's like it's drainage, if that makes sense. With cold, less predominant. With sneezing, flu is less predominant. Longer rest times between sneezing, and with allergies, you're going to sneeze. Rapid concession. The body's just like, get it out, get it out, get it out. And often itchy eyes will be associated with allergies, not as common with either the cold or the flu or the coronavirus. There are some overlapping symptoms to look for. The cough can happen with the coronavirus and also with allergies. There can be some shortness of breath, or the allergens can actually trigger an asthma like related feeling. And then there's over that headache that would be all overhead, but not with a fever. Now, what we are experiencing is that over 25% of the population has some sort of allergens. That's really increasing, especially with children. I think it's because of our diet. It's also because our environment is more toxic with the air we're breathing. The food that we're eating isn't as nutriently rich. And we also are being exposed to much more toxins early on, whether it be from small doses and vaccinations, and then we have the household cleaners, and then we have preservatives and other things with our diet that, you know, our children aren't as resilient as we once were. So just to quickly cover this is from the CDC. If you're concerned that you might be experiencing some symptoms, cough, shortness of breath, or difficulty breathing, at least 2 of these other symptoms, fever, chills, shaking chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, or new loss of taste or smell. Now, what they're recommending from the CDC is to call your physician and talk with them over the phone before actually going down to the hospital or the doctor's office. So just go ahead and just give yourself a call. Some are mild symptoms, if even at all, but can progress to severe. So, and they're not showing up. No symptoms are showing up between 2 and 14 days. So there's a higher incubation period. That just means you don't know if you've been exposed. You don't know if it's going to be very mild, if at all you even notice, or if you're actually going to have a severe sickness. So that's the difference. Allergies, as soon as you're exposed and you reach your threshold, you'll start to feel the symptoms right away. COVID, you might get exposed to it and you wouldn't know for a while. Same with flu. Takes a little bit. All right, so when it's allergy season right now, spring, from February on, a lot of amounts of pollen right now, especially California. We have the summertime, we have June, we have the August, we have the weeds, the grasses, those all present a different type of allergy. I know I'm allergic to Timothy grass a little bit. I used to be really allergic to Timothy grass. So I can't lay in the grass necessarily, but to walk on it, I'm okay. So allergies are a cumulative threshold. So a lot of people are super allergic to 1 or 2 things. If it's 1 or 2 things, cat, for example, or trees and grass, and now I have symptom. Only when that's in bloom. When it's not in bloom, I'm okay. So that's it. Everybody's threshold's different. Some people have a higher threshold. They can have grass, strawberries, weeds, mold, and now that's the cat that makes them, you know, have a reaction. So they have lots of things they can be exposed to. Those kind of people are like, I don't know, all of a sudden I have allergies, but it's not all the time. It's just sometimes. They have a better way of getting rid of, their body has a better way of dealing with it. Other people, they get one exposure to one thing and they have symptoms all the time. So they have a lower threshold for those diseased state or a symptom state. And The same thing would be for the flu and cold. Like some people just don't ever get sick. They either have a strong immune system or their immune system's not reacting at all, and they're just asymptomatic. And that's another whole topic I would love to talk about one day. But if your immune system is tolerable, then you have a strong, I say, hardy immune system. You don't get sick. Others have a more sensitive immune system, meaning that they're not as resilient. They're more susceptible. They're more fragile when it comes to what they can be exposed to, or what they can tolerate within their body systems. Know where you are is the key there. So ENT doctors, ear, nose, and throat doctors, have to their advantage some allergy testing. This is IgE allergy testing. It's a simple blood test. It's over 95.6%, if my memory serves me from my lab days, accurate, super accurate. One needle can test you for lots and lots of different allergens. So you don't have to do the skin prick testing anymore. That's an old-fashioned way to do it. Actually can create some allergic reactions if not done properly, or even if done properly. So the simple blood test is a better way to find out. Now, here's a clue too. If you come up with more allergic positive reactions on your blood test than 10, more than 10, more likely, and especially if some of those are food, more likely is that you actually have an imbalanced gut. And a leaky gut is what it's called. And you will want to get tested to see if your gut has some permeability or which foods are actually causing reactivity to you. If there's no allergic reaction, it could be sensitivities as well, so causing some irritation. So you want to get tested. I really like Viome test, a lot of information. It's a stool test. So, but it's easy. You collect it at home, they send you your kit, you just mail it off and you get your whole report within a couple of weeks. All right, so let's talk about some solutions. What other things could be contributing? So we've talked about environment, we've talked about foods that can mimic environment or be irritated by the compounding effect of foods. Foods are fine, but then you add on the allergic reactions of outdoor pollen, and now you're symptomatic. But there's some food stuff going on. We also want to consider the toxins in our homes. So this is kind of a touchy subject because we are attached to some of our stuff, aren't we, ladies, especially? We have our favorite soaps. We have our favorite perfumes, lotions, makeup. Unfortunately, the cosmetic industry is highly unregulated. And unfortunately, what that means is they've added in a lot of stuff that can create some allergic reactions for us. Soap, you want to look at the back of the label, see if there's some hydrolyzed wheat protein in there. That's gluten. So gluten is one of the main things that people might have a reaction to if there's some sensitivities in the gut. And it might, and they're saying, no, I'm not eating any bread, I've been gluten-free. And then I'm next question is, what soaps are you using? So just kind of something to be aware of if you're having a chronic allergic reaction, or if you're wanting to strengthen your immune system and get rid of toxins out of your household, pay attention to soaps. One of the main things you can do also to strengthen your immune system would be to use some probiotics. Now, I'm a whole foodie. I'd rather get beneficial like kombucha, or here we have some fermented kefir, yogurt, but yogurt in the grocery stores don't have the good buggies the way they sell you to believe. But if you do have a good probiotic source, it's fantastic for helping with allergies. I'm just going to mention, if you know you have an allergic reaction and you've been having allergic reactions, Benadryl can help, can make you sleepy. It is an antihistamine. It's just a tickle, not COVID. For sure, allergies, but Benadryl can help. I used to not go out of the house without it, and it does stop your histamine reaction. So it does hamper down your immune system. So it does actually make you a little bit more susceptible to actually catching the flu or a cold by using Benadryl. So it's not my top choice. All right, spring allergy tips. Check for pollen count on the news. Clean out your house, like good dust from the winter. And then let's talk about some natural remedies. Okay, natural remedies. Nettle leaf, it blocks histamine, but it's natural. It's a leaf. You can plant these in your garden. You can actually take them in pill form, and they are very effective. The key to blocking histamine with nettle leaf is to take them early on and to continue to take them. They have an accumulative effect. We'll talk about some more supplements, but I wanted to also mention just clearing it out. Like before you start taking any supplement at all, maybe just grab your neti pot. This is a neti pot, a specially designed pot where you put warm, not hot, but warm water in, and usually something like a pink Himalayan salt, a couple of tablespoons. Mix that in water, make sure the salt's dissolved, and then you're going to actually, over the sink, take this and put it up to your nasal passage, and you're going to allow the water to just drip in your nose and then out the other side. It'll clear all those sinuses out, and then you'll do the same thing for the other side. Now the key, once you start working with the neti pot, is to bend over afterwards and make sure that you blow, 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 breathe really hard to get all of the excess water out. You're going to be amazed how much stuff comes out of your head when you do this. You feel so clear and so much better. Neti pot. You can get it on Amazon. All right, so we're going to go back to talking about supplements. I think some of my slides got mixed up. But Histo X is a product that you can get. It's by Apex. What I like about it, it has that quercetin in it, which is what we're talking about, quercetin. It has in it as well stinging nettles, which we just talked about, and ginger, and then some mangosteen extract. So it really helps to curb that histamine reaction. If you don't want to take a supplement, you can find quercetin in citrus and in broccoli. Unfortunately, you'd have to eat a lot to get what you need, but it can help. Oftentimes, this isn't proven, hasn't been studied. However, there's a lot of anecdotal evidence of using local honey to help the immune system to, it's kind of like, what do they call it? A homeopathic, where the bees have gone and they've fed off of what's around the community. And then you're ingesting a little bit of that so that the body recognizes that it's a poison, but then but it doesn't. It starts to teach it that it's okay, and your immune system then can handle more exposure. That's the theory of homeopathy, but using local honey can really help quite a few people use it. And so I want to support that. I know it's been effective for me. So I've included a recipe. Now this is helpful to help clear the digestive tract with the apple cider vinegar. You have the raw honey, or you can sweeten it with blackstrap molasses, but raw honey here. A little fresh ginger to help clear and reduce inflammation, and then 4 cups of water. A little bit of lime juice and then mix that all up. Cover it in the refrigerator overnight. You can pour it over ice. You can add seltzer water if you want, but it's really delicious. Like tastes like lemonade, and it's super, super healthy to drink every day to help clear and clean out your system. It's called Switzel, which is just fun. All right, make sure you clean your home. Dust, especially for spring allergies, you want to get rid of the winter dust. The indoors is actually not healthy for most people. The body likes the fresh outdoor air, so open the windows, air everything out. Also, before you go to bed, making sure that you wash your hair and take a shower before you go to bed, especially if you've been outside where pollen can get in it, or the air can get in it, and then you're rolling around in it all night, and that makes your wake up all stuffy. And so make sure you shower first with good clean soap. And then, of course, if you have diet coming up, or any foods that you're having an allergic reaction, try to eliminate those for a while. I have found that people who have allergic reactions have to stay away from those foods for about 6 months before that everything kind of calms down, so then they can introduce them one at a time to see if they have a reaction or not. So especially if you can't get tested, eliminate what you think you might be having a reaction to, and for a while, try 6 weeks, introduce a lot of it and see if you have a reaction. And so that's kind of a way to judge for yourself, but it doesn't always work. But diet changes absolutely do work if you have allergic reactions and you know that they're affecting you. So today we really went over some very simple explanations on what allergic reactions are, what symptoms to look for to distinguish whether it's a flu or a cold, the incubation time, resources to go to. If you do think it's COVID, please do call your physician right away and ask them what to do next. And if you think it's allergies, now you have some tools, some products to look for. You have some thinking to do on whether or not it's just allergic from external environment, your internal environment in your house, or if it's your internal environment in your gut that might be causing some of the or contributing to some of those factors. So, and then the flu, just if you start to get all over body fever, you just want to give a call to your doctor. Otherwise, you can also get your gut tested through Viome and make sure that you are getting customized care for you. And then if you need support on cleansing, on how to help heal your gut so your allergic reactions can be tapered, and you can also help support your balanced weight loss, mental anxiety, depression. These all can contribute to a hampered immune system. And you want your immune system strong, but you don't want it confused. So we want to make sure that your body is clean. I mean, you change the filters in your house, you change the filter and the oil in your car, why wouldn't you do maintenance work on the inside of your body? I appreciate your time this afternoon. I hope you've learned something from today's presentation, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions at all, just go ahead and give us a call at 916-817-4407. Thank you. Bye.